because unfortunately, Winston has not been able, Dr. Mahabi hasn't been able to join us again.
Yeah. I think the linchpin of the entire thing resides in the office of the president. And we must continue, because I think that if she hears more voices, that perhaps she will condescend to give us the particulars that are omitted from her statement, which would in fact give us an entire picture of what has happened. And the truth is, if we do not do that, we will embark into a new police service commission, and the people generally feeling that they have just taken the bull by the horns, did what they wanted, and got away with it. And they will do it again. It's just one chink in the armor that, leads at the end of the day to the armor being removed altogether. And that's a real fear. So we must continue to knock on the door of the president. I think it's virtually, she's our only hope. And she must be persuaded that she ought to, in the interest of our country, to give us the particulars which have been omitted from her statement.
And from a former acting president, those are important words. Nafisa Mohammed.
Yes, I agree with Timothy 100% in terms of having that hope in the president to still bring us out of this crisis in a manner that we can arrest the collapse of our democracy and to be able to start restoring and repairing the damage that has been done. And more than that, there are certain institutions that we have to pay respect to. The role of the opposition in the parliament and the role of the leader of the opposition are safeguards. They are at the heart of our democracy. And that respect must be shown regardless of who the personalities are in the offices. And that is something that needs to be restored. The dignity and the respect for the opposition and the parliament, be it in the Senate and the House of Representatives. That is something that with this recent event, people have taken it in a different direction, and we need to bring it back. They are the guardians of our democracy. I had been in opposition for a few years and had that experience, and we must not ever give in and surrender to being silenced. The parliament is a place to speak. Let us restore that dignity and respect and allow free speech in the parliament. And that's my message also to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate, to allow people the opportunity to represent their constituents and to speak on behalf of whichever interest groups that they represent.
Excellent, excellent. And Ralph, Murad?
In addition to everything that has been said, but if we are talking about preserving our democracy and strengthening our democracy, we have to ensure accountability on the part of the politicians. And that accountability will not come until we stop the tribalism in the politics. We've got to stop the tribalism, because whichever party is in power, they can do whatever they want, violate constitution, violate the law, do whatever they want. But they know they have the support of the base, the tribal base. We've got to stop that. And the people of the country must wake up and see what is happening to their land, what is happening to their country, what is happening to their society, and hold politicians accountable. Not because a politician looks like you means that he will get away with anything as far as you are concerned. That is what key thing. And that is a cultural thing, that is the sociological thing that we also have to attend to. We cannot only deal with the law and the constitution and so on. That is all important. We must hold the president accountable and everything. But we must hold the people also accountable and make them accountable to themselves. Make them develop the capacity to protect themselves and to protect their society.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. And for the final thanks, let me hand it over to Sophie to thank everybody on our behalf.
Thank you, Kurt. So just want to extend a special thank you to each of our guests on tonight's panel. All your insight to this great has been plaguing our country. Ms. Nafisa Mohammed, Mr. Timothy Hamill Smith, Mr. Ralph Maraj, unfortunately, Dr. Mahabir, who wasn't able to bring out his message across to us. We thank him as well. Hopefully, we'll have him again on another date on another panel. So thank you all very much for viewing and listening audience. Thank you as well for joining us tonight, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Kurt.
Good night. And
streaming live tomorrow, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. Saturday, douglAR Politics. Facts, policy, performance. douglAR Politics, 7:30 p.m. Saturday.
This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. We shining, boy. I see them light bright. I point too close. Oh Lord, oh, come and move back that light. But anyway, we starting KFC, raise the delivery price. And I ain't hear nothing from all you. Doubles raise $1 and big bacchanal about doubles. Let me tell my doubles people something. All you could raise $2, $3, whatever, $4. I buy in my doubles. Doubles is more than just a tasty, brilliant, high protein with carbohydrate and lipids, a meal mix up. That doubles is Trinidad and Tobago creativity. That doubles is part of our essence, our hard work. The doubles people who have to come up, wake up early to move and produce that brilliant tasting doubles for us, and the consistency, everything about doubles is Trinidad and Tobago. But yet, this greasy thing, this greasy, unhealthy, diarrhea thing, all let us be eating, right? Them go on and raise up the price, $5, and everything quiet, all they still going for that, $5 for delivery extra. I told you all, every price of every good that we buy, every medicine, everything is going to go up because of the incompetence of this PNM government. You all now understand it. But I don't mind, because I just eat Royal Castle anyway. And Royal Castle get the pepper. Royal Castle had the pepper. Imagine the government agricultural policy under Clarence Rambarat. We don't even have pepper. We don't even have pepper in Trinidad and Tobago for Royal Castle to get pepper. They have to go all over the Caribbean looking, scouring the earth for pepper. That is agricultural policy for you, Clarence Rambarat. You cannot even help the farmers to produce for local demand. But we're moving on. And that's the roadmap to recovery, man. The man who give you workers a Pepsi, a Jalita, and 2 pie and tell them ride out $150 a week stipend that they had to pay back, and then he take away that. Commuters brace for hike. New east-west corridor fares up from Monday all over the country. We had a student from Felicity telling his teacher he can't come to school because Felicity to school gone up to $15 and so on. Now east-west corridor across the board. The price of oil is approaching $100 a barrel, they say, by December. Next year it may go up to somewhere to close to $200 a barrel. Coleman, but the PNM took away your subsidy. That meant that you earned and owned a piece of the resources of Trinidad and Tobago. Them take it away and you all still vote for that. Well, let me tell you something. Mark down what you're paying now. Mark on your, if you put a 200 in gas, see where it reach. If it reach 3/4 tank, just mark that day. And in February, so tell me when you put that 200 and it reach halfway, you go start to wonder what's going on. And by next year, August, when you put that 200 and you only get a 1/3 tank, you will know how great is the PNM. Elections have consequences. Archie, they had a video there. I think I tried to warn all a long time, you know. So don't say UNC and PNM same thing, because I told you all a long time ago. I don't even know how many times I tell you. Coleman and the PNM, they take away, they wean you off of your own resources to give themselves 210 recusals to go in the parliament and make laws for themselves, for them to benefit, to gut procurement. Archie, remind the people what we said now.
Good morning. This morning you're going to have to forgive me for reading some information for you because I researched it. Ladies and gentlemen, and you could see I'm whispering That's to tell you how serious this is. You all have not realized what the removal of the gas subsidy, the total privatization of all gas stations, and the laissez-faire market coming to haunt you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, with gas in your car. You all are not realizing what has taken place. So I'm going to try to help you understand. And I dare any PNM, any Colmimbot, any Rowley, any Small Pin, any Convent Girl, any Alorenta to debunk what I am saying. Dr. Rowley said, listen, don't worry, I will protect you. There will be no monopoly on gas. He's right. With many different owners, there cannot be a monopoly. There will be an oligopoly. Collusion is oligopoly. It don't have to be a monopoly. Them boys know each other. 2 call, 3 cigar, and 5 glass of scotch, and you under pressure. That is Imbat. That is Rowley. The rich must get richer. You wean yourself up the government. Wean yourself up the gas subsidy. So when the vaccinations go and planes start to fly and manufacturing gets back up to normal and aggregate demand globally gets back to pre-pandemic levels, you are going to have to pay. Where you were paying $200 for a 3/4 tank of gas, that same 3/4 tank of your gas is now going to cost you $600 to $800 for the same amount of gas. It's a very serious thing. Now, Trinis, my people, Tobagonian, we just only get vexed when we feel it. You're feeling it a little bit at the pump now. But remember, the world is still in a lockdown, shutdown. 400 million people have received jabs. When 1.5, 2 billion, 3 billion people receive jabs and we only at 100,000 and still on lockdown. That's what you're going to have to pay at the pump. Can you afford a 400% increase in your fuel bill? Colmimbot will protect you. You will not be able to drive your car. Colmimbot does not want you to drive the car. You not driving his Colmimbot traffic plan. Get poor people and middle class people off the road so he could match gas with the fancy cars. Y'all don't know that, but yet y'all vote for that. You vote for yourself not to be able to drive. You vote for yourself not to have a car. You vote for yourself not to protect your family. You vote for a car is security, time saving, and future development, future earnings. A car is actually earnings for some. A car provides you with the peace of mind and lack of stress, the good mental health to know that your children, your wife, your family, your daughters are safe. You could pick them up. They don't have to be out in the world traveling. A car is life. Colmimbot is taking your car. Colmimbot is taking your life. And y'all voting for that.
So one of the first things we had to tackle was cutbacks in subsidies and transfers.
Yes, and on a scale of 1 to 10, here's your score so far.
Since September, in the September 2015 budget, I increased the price of fuel by 15%. I then realized that was not enough. I came back again in April and I raised it again by 15%. And I came back again just a few weeks ago and raised it by another 15%. They haven't rioted yet. So I might raise it by another 15% in April of next year.
Now, he's laughing at y'all. He's laughing at the citizens. Paying all around, and not just they. Here the next one, the minister man now. The minister who had time while down at a function, he gone to see who driving Wassa van and which man in the passenger side and which man driving, and then gone and make a report on man in a van. And then when the investigators say, well, nothing wrong with that, he and some of he managers, PNM managers, the managers gone and asking the investigator to change his report. This minister man now come to tell you, the people, y'all can't get no water. Desalination plant that the United National Congress bill that enabled and freed up the water supply so many others could get water. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, 74% of citizens had a 24/7 supply. Under this clong here now, you're down at 17%. They have more than 5,000 leaks. Every time WASA try to pump water to you, the citizens, the infrastructure that has not been enhanced, managed, repaired, just like your roads, your landslide, your bridges, the aged infrastructure that has not undergone any transformation in the last 6 years. When they turn on the pump to pump water to you, over 4.6 billion gallons right now is lost per month. And you know what this minister man telling all you the citizens? Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez, oh that his name? I thought his name is Minister man. Me and him know the man name, nah? Is urging the public to pay its utility bills on time to get better quality service. So the public must pay their bill on time. They ain't getting no water. They must pay for air and mosquito to buzz in the airs. All you're giving out tank, and the only thing the tank holding is oxygen. Like that the ventilator that should have been in the hospital or in the ICU beds that non-existent. Over $28 billion spent. And we are no ICU. We over. The only thing saving the ICU is that Convent Girl and Davlin Thomas. People, when they reach in the ICU, they dead in fast. Imagine COVID-19 today. 290 positive test positive and 8 deaths. Yesterday, 10 deaths. In the last 3 days, over 1,000 positive cases and 25 deaths. And you all telling me they are #1 in the world? And man going to play golf in Scotland? This minister man said, customers must do their part to help the utility companies continue their work. So you mustn't do your part. You must just go there and put on makeup and look for man through glass. That's what you just do. Rowley said, I'm reading from a Sunshine article, Finance, by David Walker, accountant and database expert, talking about the hotels and so on, and Rowley telling y'all that he's the best negotiator. You can move the minister, man. Rowley is the best negotiator. Remember when he was leader of the opposition, his procurement was that he was playing golf. Actually, wake up and move the minister, man. That he was playing golf with Sandals man, Butch, and he tell Butch, well, I go in and lie down the place, boy, and them mass media in my pocket, them going and make me prime minister here. We controlling the EBC, and then we go take over control. When I become prime minister, it have some land in Tobago. Forget the THA and think that PNM, I control that. I go give you that land. That Clico land that under the government. We go sneak it quietly, put it under the Ministry of Finance, and we go make it available to you. I go then borrow money. You make the design and tell me what you want, Butch, right? Okay, hit your ball. Where your ball gone in the bush? Oh, let me get my ball. Wait, just now. Let me drink a Gatorade with COVID on it. Just now, Butch. Yes, and Butch, when I reach there, don't worry. Them people so stupid. I tell them, we in the self of the government, them go vote for me, and I go take all the money and all my boys go recuse. I go borrow money and make them pay back for it, and you go get a hotel, right, Butch? That was the great negotiation. Now, Rowley is boasting again. But David Walker says something, and he makes a very valid point. He says, he is telling Superior, just as he told Sanders this about Keith Christopher Rowley, that his negotiating position is that he will accept all their terms and conditions even before entering the negotiating room. That is Rowley. What kind of negotiator does that? Because he's not negotiating with his money. It's not his personal money. He is negotiating with your assets, and he don't care about all here. So he don't care about value for your assets. He care about value in whatever procurement he procure without procurement. Whatever value he see with the googly eye. That's what he cares about. So Walker says, how else is one going to interpret negotiations where one party has indicated in advance that they will undertake the project no matter what? I quote from the Newsday article again, said Walker. I am giving you fair warning, said Rowley, that project you are talking about, come hell or high water, Tobagonians will have. Tobagonians will have? You mean Rahal will have? just like Rahal will have Renaissance, just like Rahal will have Greenvale, just like Rahal have you, just like you have Rahal. Don't come and talk about Tobagonians. Tobagonians don't want to see you. That's why the golf cart didn't work. That's why, oh, what? You was driving? Anyway, let me just say. The Prime Minister is boasting to the population that he has not the slightest clue about how to handle commercial negotiations. Can you imagine being the other party in big money negotiations where the Prime Minister of the country broadcasts that he is determined to buy your product or service before he has any idea of the terms and conditions? Exactly. Well said, Mr. Walker. You all could read it in the sunshine. Now, Senator Wade Mark read, and some Express articles earlier talked about First Citizens Bank. The only bank in Trinidad and Tobago here that has some PNM. PNM have some control and direction over policy. The PNM government Rowley appoints the board and so on. So there is some PNM directive, PNM interference, interface in First Citizens, right? While Republic shares may be held by the government don't have no say on the board and the management and the CEO and so on. Scotia Bank, First RBC and so on. But First Citizens, we saw them just start to take money and invest in Barita. Senator Wade Mark spoke about this a few weeks ago, and the Express article showed that how just so this little rat's tail company, First Citizens, out of all the companies in the globe that they could look at their positions, look at their futures, look at their plans, look at their growth prospects and invest in, all of a sudden First Citizens just jump and grab this Barita and this company Cornerstone that owns 70% of Barita, and they lend $20 million US, and they buy $25 million US in shares, and then they put our next $9 million US. And we saying, but on what basis? Well, the Express had bust the story, and they were asking some very serious questions. But now, all of a sudden, 7 or 8 weeks later, two faces come forward to say that they're representing Barita, some Jason Chambers and Ramon Small Ferguson. And when you look at them, yes, they are the perfect PR pieces. They all you feel we in Trinidad and Tobago stupid. Two young, looking intelligent, black, upwardly mobile executives look like, yes, that's something that we should invest in. And if you criticize and question them, you're against black people. Nice picture. We understand marketing. We understand PR. But first and foremost, the Express newspaper is the one that was pushing the story, investigating. But you're run by the Guardian. The Guardian is the Guardian of Rowley Capax. You're going by Curtis Williams. Now, Curtis Williams has been following up many other stories. NGC, those three stories adding up to $740 billion, gas price negotiation, upstream, downstream, point leases. So he is very busy. So that was the first. I have some questions because they're trying to tell us that everything is okay. First Citizens is doing a great job and so on. But when I read this article here, and actually coming close to let the people see that I went through it in quite some detail. I may not bore them with all the detail now, right? Zoom in a bit there, Archie. Let them see the thing, man. Let them see these two nice brothers who all of a sudden start to talk, right? The light bright, right? You see, so we went through it and we took some notes. Pull back there, right? So Wade Mark, bust this mark. So they start to talk about the company, but then they start to contradict themselves because these two gentlemen said, to put the issue into perspective, Cornerstone in 2017 took controlling interest of Barita Investments Limited. At the time, Barita was a relatively small player in the Jamaican financial market. That's 2017. In the next column, here these two gentlemen, he said, some of the reasons are clear. Barita Investments is one of the oldest brokerages firms in Jamaica. It also is the largest securities dealer in Jamaica by shareholders' equity. It has US $2 billion. So within that period, But within this period in the interview, in 10 minutes, they moved from a small company that Cornerstone took over to the largest, biggest, baddest investment company. Make up all your mind, all you're contradicting yourself. They then continued. Cornerstone, which owns 75% stake in Barita, is not publicly traded. And then they said, they tell Curtis Williams who are the owners of Cornerstone, but they tell the country, right? Barita is not a publicly, Cornerstone is not a publicly traded company and not subject to some of the rigors of Barita. To the question of who are the real owners of Cornerstone, Chambers told Business Guardian that the owners are highly respected Jamaican and region and the name of each director, but they didn't print it here. But we're not interested in that. That's Cornerstone, who owns 75% of Barita. Now, why is First Citizens investing just so in Barita? They say that they got 5% dividend. Now, remember that in Jamaica, there was a company called Olint recently, in recent history, about 15 years ago, and the Ponzi scheme came down. Because you have to explain, all over the globe during a pandemic, stocks, bonds, investment, everything plateaued, flattened, and losses were made across the board as manufacturing stopped, planes stopped flying, trains, trucks, lorries, business shut down, COVID-19 shut down the place. How were companies who are involved in stocks, bonds, investment, in baskets of goods, getting 5% return and dividend? So Wademark said it appears that what they were doing is getting companies or banks to buy in, lend money, and then they would take that money, borrow the money, and buy shares and artificially prop up the share price. So they asked the question, Curtis Williams asked the question, from a shareholding that was just over 1,000 shareholders, and over last public offering of September this year attracted 3,000 investors. That is a small company. How First Citizens leave all the big corporations? It would have been better for First Citizens to invest in Ansa Macal or Massey, who are showing great portfolio increases, balance sheet positive, increase in share prices, low risk and so on. Where First Citizens leaving all our we local companies and so on to run and get this small company that is showing on paper incredible 5% dividend payout that really nowhere else in the world you're seeing. This leaves more questions than answers. Then down at the bottom, Small Ferguson was asked about a sale of the proven shares which was purchased in a block 13 minutes later that looked like an attempt to manipulate the market. So shares, they put some shares on the market and 13 minutes later, them shares gone. Now understand, this is not the New York Stock Exchange. This is not the NISEC in Japan. This is not European. This is not Chinese. This is Francoman Jamaican Stock Exchange. They put a block of proven shares and 13 minutes they sell out. So it looked like they said that this was an attempt to manipulate the market. He insisted that while they do not comment specifically on trades, it is possible, he tried to give you a suggestion of how that is possible, that someone may have moved their shares from one account to another, which is perfectly legitimate and normal. Not with we First Citizens money. But then the crux of the matter comes. Curtis Williams eventually asked down at the end. Neither Smith, nor Ferguson, nor Chambers were prepared to speak on the loan Cornerstone got from First Citizens, except to say that they have dealing with major bank in the U.S. We ask you that. We ask you about First Citizens, how Cornerstone, First Citizens lent to Cornerstone and also bought shares in Barita and then put an extra 9 million US, so a total of about 54 million US. On what basis? On what policy? What investment portfolio? Who is this connection? Who are the owners? What is this going on? Why this risky investment? What is going? This is a very serious thing. But what they said is, we do not answer questions on that. They also talked about the need in their view to create wealth in the region for the people of, that's all very well and good. But answer the question. So Senator Wademark, I can give you a round of applause because I had left it there and I was just watching and I listened to what Senator Mark, but it looks like he's on the mark. So he has to keep asking, and the people must ask, and the shareholders must ask, all your ministers who recusing, all yourself from First Citizens, because all you have shares. All you must ask the question, all you is the government, what is this nonsense going on? There are more questions than answers. And when you're playing with such a brilliant bank, First Citizens has been one of the best success stories for the last 40 years, since 1984, 85, so when it changed and so on. That is the People's Bank, that is the shareholders, that is Trinidad and Tobago. So this PNM, getting in there and playing with that, we have to monitor it very carefully. And first, all you answer the questions, it's just questions, in order for us to have confidence to invest. Maybe we want to buy some Barita and Cornerstone. Maybe we want to buy some shares in those companies. You know, we want to boost it to the Caribbean region and boost wealth. Very interesting. Senator Mark, give me a high five. Bam. Well done, brother. Flooded penal residents ask government, why not help us? Pothole, flood. Look at this road, all down, look, Rudy and Darsing, Couva South, all over the country, Lakram, Bodo, Faizabad, all in St. Augustine, Tunapuna, Dago Martin, all across Labre, Point 14, Matlot, Tobago, road, infrastructure, bridges, landslips in Maruga, Tableland, over 285 landslips, and Rohan Sinaran come out to talk about, oh, we're going to try to fix 40 landslips. Look at what is going on in this country. Where is your money? Where is the government? Rowley and 3 ministers gone out to play golf. They gone to what? An environment conference. But they shut down the Ministry of the Environment that Kamla Prasad Bisesa had. Kamla Prasad Bisesa had the Ministry of the People to see about people, to care about people. Them shut down that because they didn't care about people. They show all of that and all you're still voting for them. Then they shut down Kamla Ministry of the Environment. And now they go in conference in Glasgow, Scotland. We go deal with that just now. But also, Archie, in Faizabad today, I mean, it was all over the country. And the October Revolution moves into November. It starts in October, but it's going into November, into December, through Diwali, into Christmas, into no carnival next year, into New Year's. The October Revolution continues onwards. Look at all of this. This Trinidad and Tobago is in shatters. We are tattered, we are torn, we are broken. Imagine Cascadia owners had to break down their own wall to allow residents to come out of St. Anne's. And the MP for St. Anne's gone to cut deal and sign deal with Rowley and have meetings with BP and Shell. Remember the last time them had meeting with upstreamers? What happened to you, the people? They negotiated sweetheart deal for somebody else, not for you, the people. Point Lisa shut down. NGC made a loss for the first time. Archie run the Faizabad. Watch Faizabad. Watch all over the place. All you look at it.
This is for Rowley. This one is for Rohan Sinanan. And this one is for Al Rental and Stuart Young. And this is for the whole wicked PNM government. We go. Done with it.
You would realize that last week we started the October Revolution in San Francisco. This is an ongoing process whereby we are highlighting the shortcomings and the failures of this government to deal with issues affecting our local communities. If this peaceful demonstration of the October Revolution is not paying the dividends that we are looking for, maybe he's looking for something a little more harsh, that it will be worse than Barakpo and Maruga. And your arrogance, Mr. Sinanan, for not dealing with the issues affecting the San Francisco people and other areas in the region, you will be dealt a severe blow, because we are not afraid to stand up to you and your government.
And in the Daily Express, imagine the Express and all, page 12, Thursday, 28 October. rural neglecting action. Kamla Prasad Bisesa made the comment long ago that the PNM under Rowley is engaging in geographic discrimination. Dave Tanku showed you with the flooding and the pumps and the roads and the lack of resources. Alan Sami, the chairman of the Penal David Regional Corporation, 90,000 people down there. Tobacco, no resources, budget cuts, no allocation. Even when they allocated money, the PNM is not even releasing it. Then they try to release it in September and try to tell you spend all or whatever you get quickly in that month. It is geographic discrimination. Kamla Prasad Bisesa called out Rowley on it. It is disgusting. This country is divided now through politics, through Rowley, through race, through religion. The PNM is advertising curry with chicken in Diwali. They're disrespecting different religions. Hindus cannot even see about their dead in peace with this COVID-19. Everything in this country is disgusting. Rivers remain closed for 2 years while beaches were open. Now all closed. This country is totally divided and the geographic discrimination is horrendous. The PNM is the government of the PNM and themselves only. But even the Express has realized, because the Express says, rural neglect in action. When people are struggling with the flooding of their homes and unending disruptions caused by landslides and collapsed roads, it is nothing short of callous for the Minister of Works to describe them as a group who feel they want revolution in Trinidad and Tobago. His lack of empathy for the plight of citizens struggling with floods and landslides is inexcusable. This is the Express saying that Rohan Sinanan's arrogance, his disrespect, his disdain for citizens is inexcusable. He must, as the public official with the lead responsibility for the national physical infrastructure, cut through his annoyance and deal with the dire situation now facing thousands of citizens. Judging from the position articulated by his ministry officials, one senses a certain defeatist attitude towards the problem. You hear that? The Express now realize that the PNM is incompetent. They had no plan, they have no plan, they have no solutions, and they're throwing their hands up in the air and just saying, well, this is the problem. Across the board, the Express continues. This sounds like a comprehensive analysis of the problem, which stops short of a solution. The fundamental problem here is one that is replicated throughout government, where the failure to nip small problems in the bud with solutions ends up with the system being overwhelmed to the point where the only available option is to put a plaster on the sore. So the Express has now realized that the PNM is totally incompetent across the board. Express, while I'm happy that you're finally woken up, you are part and parcel of the problem. Between 2010 and 2015, you were playing politics with your journalism. You turned journalism into PR. Your newspaper became a PR rag for Rowley. You were not even aware, it appears, that you had senior investigative political reporters who were totally biased and in love and in great intimate relationships with PNM ministers, not one but two at a time, but no UNC, that's not balance. When you found out, you simply moved this journalist without an apology. Now you're coming to talk the truth, but without the fourth estate printing the truth. This is where we end up. We end up with a prime minister who leaves a country in a state of emergency, with the ICU overwhelmed, the healthcare system overwhelmed, Delta variant ravaging, people dying, 1,682 people dead. The only thing stopping total collapse of the healthcare system is that the system is not working, and people, once they reach the ICU, they just die fast. So beds open up through death. But this man, with all of this chaos, infrastructure crumbling, economic collapse, businesses going down, food price inflation, education problems, division between the vaccinated and unvaccinated, bullying in schools. He picked up himself and went to Tobago for a 3-day golf trip, pick up COVID-19 again, and now decide that he go on Scotland with 2 other members of parliament, Stuart Smallpin Young and Camille Robinson Regis, and they would not call parliament. No commissioner of police, police service commission collapse. The Express you put on your front page, something about mission accomplished. No mission has been accomplished. The president has nominated 5 names. It requires parliament. Parliament will not be called because Rowley had to go and play golf in Scotland. And you all think this is funny? We're in a state of emergency, murders and crime rampant, and Rowley going to play golf, telling you all he cares about the environment? Really? He cares about the environment? But David Lee called Clarence Rambarat about 5-6 weeks ago when people's houses were collapsing, and Donna Cox run down there with a weave, take 2 pictures and say, yes, help is on the way. Clarence Rambarat was so busy liming with Rowley and Boudit some way that he couldn't answer his phone. And now we see that the quarrying has started back and people have seen no relief in the sandpit. And there are pictures, Archie, I don't know if you have it. David Lee put them up, man. And David Lee had to put out another press release. People are suffering. And this man gone out there to play golf. Police Service Commission requires debate. 3 members, elected members of parliament of the PNM gone to Scotland to discuss what? Climate change? To discuss environment? Rowley doesn't care about the environment. Look at the environment. Look at Forest Reserve. Ah, nice. Look at that. That is happening in Pointe-à-Pierre. The Member of Parliament, David Lee, is fighting to get these people some sort of assistance. Clarence Rambarat, as usual, full of talk. The most incompetent human being, cannot win an election and they still give him a ministerial portfolio to suffer people. We in Trinidad and Tobago Royal Castle cannot even get pepper. Everybody love the local chicken, not greasy, and they want the pepper. Them Royal Castle had to search all over for pepper because Clarence is a clown. Look at this. Look at this, Archie. Forest Reserve, Pointe-à-Pierre, Labre, all of these assets that belong to the people, everything depreciated, mashing up, rotting, the pool closed, everything bush overgrown, snake, buildings gone through. It's just like a total labas, and this is what the PNM has done. Princess Tong family, and Rowley gone to talk about the environment, but hear this one. Princess Tong family claims 250 fruit trees bulldozed on their property. 250 fruit trees in this day and age, where food is the most critical item, where we should be trying to become self-sustainable to feed ourselves because cargo prices are going up from 3,000 US per container to 28,000 US per container. Rowley answered a question about 2,000 ships out there in San Francisco. It wasn't. It was 80 ships. But yes, there is a backlog. Shipping lines are blocked. Ports are backlogged. This will add to the cost of food for our people, and our people are hungry and have no jobs. But a man gone to Scotland to play golf. And how we get in Scotland? UK and Scotland don't recognize Sinopharm vaccination. Did he lie on his landing health card to enter the United Kingdom? Or did he lie in the parliament? We'll find out that just now. Without warning or consultation, the Jag Group family complained that a contractor hired by the Ministry of Works and Transport, Rohan Sinanan again, but Palmzanilla going up nice. The road in Palmzanilla get 46 loads of material. Where them loads come from, Rohan? Show the bills now. At Lengua Road, bulldozed 250 of their fruit trees and conducted excavation works across 4 lots of their land. 250 fruit trees. Well, now, Guardian newspaper, I'm going to ask you all a question, Guardian newspaper. Because I have proven time and time again that you all are not the guardian of democracy. You're the guardian of Rowley, the guardian of Rowley's K-Pax. You're the guardian of Rowley being in power so that your shareholders could benefit in their disparate portfolios of the corporation. I have proven that to you all, Guardian. Well, now, I'm going to prove it again. You want to know why? I bet you all would stay silent. Look, 250 trees were just demolished, assassinated, killed, crumbled by Rohan Sinanan and the PNM. But check the Guardian. Be a part of the movement, says the Guardian. Grow it today. A project of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian and the National Seed Bank. Get your packet of seeds today. Free. Saturday, October 30th. In your Guardian. And all on the radio, on the TV. Grow it today. But Guardian, I didn't see you print the story about the 250 trees that were killed by the PNM government while you all are telling us to grow it today. That's not of interest of you. How can you be promoting this here and not be totally offended and taken aback by the callous disregard of the PNM to agriculture, to trees, to farmers' land, to the nursery in St. Joseph where they want to build houses? You are very silent, but you're telling us, you see, hypocrites don't get, people are not inspired by hypocrites, Guardian. So you come in to tell we plant trees, but the PNM licked down 250 trees. When I was Minister of Sport, my phone rang at 2:28 a.m. I see Honorable Prime Minister flash up on the screen. I answer, hello, hello. She said, Minister, I heard you are paving the Hazy Crawford Stadium and Jean Pierre area. I do so. I say, yes, ma'am. The sport company doing some work there, rehabilitation work. The road was bad, you know, and we had to fix the car park, and then we fixing up the. She said yes, but I heard reports that there are some trees there, and that they want to cut them down. They want to move them. I say, ma'am, I ain't know nothing. But she said, find out. I say, okay, ma'am. Well, I wake up everybody at 2:36 a.m. I say, what is this? What trees? What are they talking about? The engineers say, well, Minister, they have some trees there, but some of them rotten and some of them, you know, we find they're not looking so good, and we wanted to clear them out, so we'll have an extra cap. I say, hey, not a tree. Leave it. Because the Prime Minister say, don't cut down no tree. Don't lick down no tree. If it only have X amount of car park, leave it just so. That was the instruction. That is somebody who cares about the small things, about the environment. Rowley shut down the Ministry of the Environment that Kamala had. Tell all you he go in Scotland after playing 3 days golf while the whole country in state of emergency under pressure, pain across the board. And then he gone with the boys. He K-Pax in check. Small pin all up in the K-Pax going up in Scotland to play golf. And trees being destroyed down here. Houses being built on nursery. And Guardian newspaper who give we Rowley telling we about join them to plant tree. Guardian go and scratch now. Heritage, they go on for environmental. Heritage, oil spills affect Coquille Santa Flora residents. Them going to environment conference and the environment people dying down here, animals dying, water courses being polluted daily. On Wednesday, Clinton Stout's 2 young sons began feeling ill after inhaling fumes from a ruptured Heritage Petroleum Limited Heritage oil pipeline near their Inference Road, Coquille home. The family is just one of several families affected by recent Heritage oil spills in Coquille and Santa Flora. Stout recalled it was Tuesday evening when someone down the road saw the spill and told us. But oil spill, but they're gone. But Archie, wasn't there also a recent oil spill in the Gulf of Paria Let's Gary Aboud remind us now, because Rowley cares for the environment. He ain't gone Scotland with the Sinopharm vaccine that Scotland wouldn't let you land. Or if you land, they had to take 14 days quarantine. He ain't take no quarantine because the lady with the COVID-19 honey the Gatorade. He hold the Gatorade, drink the Gatorade, cover back the Gatorade whole day because he can't play golf good. He hit a driver, the ball went in the bush, he drink the COVID Gatorade, put it back, look for the ball, get the 9-iron out, try and chip out the razor grass. He take about 7 shots because he sucks. He can't play golf good. He love golf, but golf don't like him. He sipped the COVID-19 Gatorade, and then they come and tell us, no, that was not a contact. You have to be 15 minutes continuous to be contact traced and go into quarantine, really? So all of those thousands and thousands of citizens who were forced to go into quarantine under fear of prosecution because some worker in the office had tested positive for COVID. All of that is not true anymore. You needed to sit down with it. So for COVID-19 to pass, you had to sit down like this for 15 minutes with the contact person. Now, boy, that's 7 minutes. We don't have to quarantine. That's what they are saying now. And then they're studying about why the population don't trust them. They don't trust you because all you're flipping liars. Gary Aboud, wasn't there an oil spill in the Gulf of Paria? Archie run it.
Look at him. These are our creatures. Where's the compassion from our Minister of Energy? Where's the soul of our Prime Minister this morning? We are here down here struggling to catch these birds to take them into hospitals. I mean, where's the compassion in our society? You don't care?
And that last shot was the most telling shot, where Heritage and Paria, PNM, Rowley's personal attorney is the chairman, A.A. Kwame of Heritage, and Rowley's personal friend of 50 years, Newman George, is the chairman of Paria, and all of them on interlocking directorships on each board and everyone on another board. That's what they did. That was a government vessel spinning and tuning to try and break up the oil spill and let it sink down and cause damage for decades underneath, killing the flora, the flora underneath, the rocks, the reef, the food, the plankton, the fish, what the fish eat. That's what they did. And it wasn't just then. You have one in Santa Flora here now and Coquille, but Victor Roberts found one. Look at this one. Down in his area, library, Santa Flora again. Look at all the oil with the rain and the floods. Oil spill after oil spill. And all of a sudden they're talking about the environment. While all of this was going on, not one statement by Keith Christopher Rowley, but he so care about the environment. Look at that. That is impacting the water table, the wells, our water supply, animals, the food, crops, every single thing. Now all of a sudden, because it's in Scotland and Scotland have nice golf course, he gone to say he going to an environment conference. But as we talking oil and Victor Roberts, they have a next video, and we want to know what is really going on. Because all of our assets, all the people's assets are left. And we don't know what's going on, who's taking them, who approving them, who is not approving them, who's selling them, who buying them, who moving them, where the security is, why they move all the Petrotrin normal police force, the Petrotrin police, and put in private sector, who also getting land in Tobago to build hotels, Superior and Rowley balling it, billing come hell or high water. Everything is very passionate for certain people under Keith Christopher Rowley. But Victor Roberts went and did some investigation, and this man did not even win election. This man lost election, and this man doing more work. I don't even know who the member of parliament for the PNM and Labres. I don't even know who the member of parliament in Point 14 is. But across the board, I know the people down in Labre and Point 14. They see Victor Roberts, they see the work he doing. No resources, no salary, no job, nothing. Just doing it from his heart. Victor Roberts, what is that going on there? Show me.
So I down in Kura Quarry area. But what I discovered here this morning, I wanted to watch this facility. This facility appears to be abandoned. It appears as though nothing happening here. But come with me. Come with me. Now, if you watch inside here, you will see pumping jacks galore. Pumping jacks going all down the way in the bush. If you watch on this side here, you will also see some. But I wanted to come down here, come fast. Come down here and see what's going on. Keep it there. Watch on here going down the road. It's pumping jacks. Taxpayers' money, park up. Taxpayers' dollars, park up. Compliment Keith Rowley. Compliment Keith Rowley. What's happening here? Bush. But I wanted to notice something. Come down here with me. I wanted to notice something. Jump over here. Watch what's going on here. I don't know who created the mafia. Watch this pumping jack here. Fresh paint. Okay, meaning good. Come down here. All these parts identified. Fresh white paint. That okay. This okay. Show them the okay sign. That okay. That okay. Watch here. This okay. Come again. This okay. Them foot stand. Okay. Let me go again. This okay. Right? Fresh paint. Watch here. This okay. This okay. The table okay. This pumping jack okay. This one okay. This one okay. Fresh white paint. Okay. Come with me.
Everything okay?
I don't know what is the big mouth here. Okay. You seen it? This one knows how to get us. Watch that. Okay. Bring it closer. Fresh white paint. Okay. Today's what? The 28th? Okay again. Today's the 28th of October 2021. Watch. Okay. Come here. All these pumping jacks. Okay. Meaning good. Okay. This okay. That pass okay. That okay. Everything here. Okay. And come. We out of here. We okay. Let me tell you what happened here. We come out. I see no sign saying don't enter. So I'm breaking no law. The gate's open. Come back in front here. So ladies and gentlemen, We want to find out what is this okay about? What is this mafia that is running in heritage, whereby our taxpayers, our pumping jack, our assets have been dispersed to the friends, the partner with the farm out, those who pay in kickbacks. I don't know if all this okay here means that it's okay to go San Francisco. I don't know if that's what it means, you know. I don't know if that okay means that it is okay to go San Francisco. But this is what is happening. We have no accountability, no transparency. You know why? Simply because Keith Rowley put his people in all the necessary position so we cannot get any information. I gone.
Now, if you all don't understand what is happening there, not only is that equipment millions of dollars worth, but it's okay, meaning it's valuable and it could function, and therefore it could be utilized by those who remove it because there's no security, there's only bush, the goatee watching it, they might see a lap or a tattoo. But whoever has the ability or land or getting permission to farm out and to go and rehabilitate or get old fields and pump oil, lucrative oil, where the oil price is going up soon to 100 US a barrel and 200, that they could go there with your assets that belong to you unsecured and just take it and go and start to pump out oil. This is very dangerous. And this is what's going on all across Trinidad and Tobago. And the environment, oil spill, everything, nothing is functioning. But let me just, as I told you, that as you saw Gary Aboud and Fishermen and Friends of the Sea and all those volunteers, some young veterinarians and so on, that were trying to help the pelicans and some of the fish and so on, and clean up the oil spill and get the birds out. In California, there was an oil spill. And in the aftermath of that oil spill, they're saying surfing and swimming get the okay, but fishing is out. 4 weeks after an oil spill washed blobs of crude onto Southern California's coast, surfers have returned to the waves and people play in the surf. But fishermen still can't drop their lines into the same waters. California has prohibited fishing in an area that ranges about 6 to 12 miles off the shores of Orange County since an undersea pipeline leaked at least 25,000 gallons of crude oil into the Pacific Ocean. But when Gary Aboud was driving around, it's more than 25,000 gallons of oil that we saw there. Our government did not stop fishing. Our fishermen could have gone fish there and put it in the market for you to eat because nothing works. There is no environmental ministry. Kamala had one and Rowley shut it down because he does not care. But we did not even give their arrest to clean it out. Furthermore, they were actively trying to cut up the oil so it will sink. But in California, they have told fishermen you cannot fish there because there has become poison and it has to give it a time to cleanse itself and so on before fishing for human being, for human consumption could restart. Rowley say, Prime Minister heads to COP26 climate change conference in Scotland. He said, I'm fit to travel. Oh, very interesting. The Prime Minister tested positive for virus from April 6th to 25th. He took the Sinopharm vaccine in July and August, but in September 18th was a primary contact of someone with COVID-19, but was ultimately cleared. The Prime Minister addressed all concerns on Friday, really. With respect to testing, I was tested last Saturday, and only as recently as today, October 29th. Why were you tested on last Saturday? Huh? On the golf course? Where you were tested last Saturday? Rowley, who believes you? You was playing the golf on Friday when you didn't even know how to drive a golf cart, where Magdalena management show that you are a total complete liar because they said you were having trouble with golf cart, and then it started and you were driving it and you move it forward. And anybody know about golf cart, it don't just move forward on its own. You had too much scotch and shrimps, celebrating that birthday, hoping that the horny goat will kick in on Saturday night. So he said he was tested then today, October 29th, in preparation for travel, which requires a negative PCR test no older than 72 hours before boarding, my results continue to be negative. Yes, but before traveling to the UK and to Scotland, aren't you supposed to have a vaccine or be fully vaccinated by a vaccine that is recognized by the authorities? Traveling to Scotland, COVID-19, key tourist information. What fully vaccinated means? You can put it up bigger, to count as fully vaccinated, you must also have been vaccinated in one of these countries or territories, right? Antigua, Barbuda, Barbados, and so on. Grenada, Jamaica, Nevis, St. Lucia, the Grenadines. All these countries and territories, you only count as fully vaccinated if you've been vaccinated with a full course of the Oxford AstraZeneca, Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, or Janssen vaccines. Okay? So, furthermore, they also say if you are coming from a red zone area, well, we were red zone, we must be orange, but now we must dip back into red zone. So, the Scottish government information on the definition of fully vaccinated under red and non-red list. Please note that other vaccines, including the Sinopharm and Sputnik vaccines, are not accepted at this time. So how Rowley go in Scotland? Will you read that? Please note that other vaccines, including the Sinopharm and Sputnik 5 vaccines, are not accepted at this time. How Rowley in Scotland? Look at what Rowley put up on his Facebook. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley received his first dose of Sinopharm vaccine at the Diego Martin Health Center this morning, Tuesday, 13 July 2021. And after that, he received his second dose of Sinopharm. So how did Keith Rowley land? And is he, if he got off the plane, how did he get off the plane? And how is he in Scotland, not in a 14-day quarantine? How? Is it that the Scottish officials say that COVID-19 rules don't apply to politicians? That there's a different rule for politicians as opposed to ordinary human beings? Or that COVID-19, the science changes with politicians in power positions? Is that what the UK and Scotland have said? Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, Convent Girl, the PNM Minister of Health, had boasted stiff penalties for anyone who dared fill out or provide misinformation on your vaccination information coming into Trinidad and Tobago. Fines up to $250,000. Question: did Keith Rowley fill out his form truthfully and put Sinopharm as he landed, when you have to fill out your landing card and your health certificate now under COVID-19 pandemic protocols? Did Keith Christopher Rowley put the truth on his card to land and exit, go through customs and immigration, whether in the special VIP or whatever, you still have to do it? Did he put the truth that he got Sinopharm? And if he put the truth, then the British officials, I question you all. What are your rules? What is the difference? Please provide this country with the information so that you have one rule for the plebs, the peasants, and you have one rule for the aristocracy. Is that what you are doing in England, in Britain, in Scotland, in London? Is that what's happening? Or did Keith Christopher Rowley lie on his form? And as a Prime Minister, giving false information. What are the penalties in Scotland and the UK for providing false information? Because we must go back to the Parliament, you know, Archie, when the United National Congress was asking Rowley question. And when you ask Rowley question, and he just want to lie, he just play Bajan, Wajang, and get on bad, and lie. Just like how Al-Rawi lie on Kamla and saying Kamla family rent out building and had to come and apologize with the little crybaby self. And even when he was apologizing, he lied 3 times. Rowley do the same thing. When asked a direct question, when Pfizer, remember 400 doses of Pfizer came in surreptitiously without anything, and they say U.S. Embassy brought it from Ministry of National Security, but it had no paperwork, and then the pharmacy, the head of the pharmacy board had to come and clear it and so on. Customs didn't have no paper. All you remember that, the secret Pfizer? Well, Rowley was asked, did you take Pfizer? And he went on a tirade, he went on a Wajang rant. Run it, Archie, remind the people.
Currently Central.
Thank you. Can the Prime Minister indicate whether he was a recipient of this Pfizer vaccine?
Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, I wish that the members of the opposition would stop attempting to mislead the public with blatant lies and untruths. Madam Speaker, I have stated to this country before, unlike the other leader in this house, I told the country, I told the country when I was diagnosed as a positive patient with COVID-19. I told the country when I was in isolation. I told the country when I can be vaccinated. The Minister of Health actually told the country the date on which I can be vaccinated. So to come here today and ask me if I took vaccine from the 400, you are just a mischief maker, and that is your pen. Go and find out from your leader when she took it and when she got COVID.
No, Prime Minister, that is all.
Member for Naparima. Prime Minister. Time is not up as yet. Naparima.
A simple question, yes or no, did you receive the vaccine, the Pfizer?
Madam Speaker, I would not dignify the member for Naparima, his out-of-place question with an answer. You are a stranger to the truth.
Rodney Charles asked him directly after Rudy Indassing and everybody else. Simple yes or no answer. He calling everybody liar, stranger to the truth, the biggest parliamentary liar in the history of the Commonwealth, a franco-ment old liar. Keith Rowley calling people liar, but he didn't answer the question. So members of the media, you're not interested in knowing. Only social media people are really interested in knowing. Since he gallery and he buff and he carry on and in between making false accusations about Kamla had COVID. Kamla never had no COVID, knock on wood. But all of that talk, and he says sign of farm. He didn't even say there, right? Then the question is, Express newspaper, Guardian newspaper, Newsday newspaper, Sunshine newspaper, TV6 News, CNC3 News, TTT News, and any and all other journalists who pretend to be journalists. We wouldn't ask Matt because Matt is a PNM Group 69. Jelani must be joined Matt. The question is, Honorable Prime Minister, now that you're in Scotland, how did you reach there? And this, look at this. I think this is the clubhouse of the... Go back there. Go back one, Archie. I think that's the most hallowed golf course in Scotland, St. Andrews, where the British Open. It's one of the greatest golf courses in the world. 550 golf courses in Scotland, 15 in Glasgow alone. Look at that clubhouse. Now, Keith Rowley, did any media travel with the Prime Minister and his parliamentarians? Well, then you're supposed to ask him. Aren't you interested in knowing? How did the Prime Minister with Sinopharm enter the UK? Is the UK government making special circumstances for Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? Or did the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago lie? Are they not interested? Huh? All you're not interested. I know all you're not interested on. All you let him go on the plane, even though he should have been in quarantine, because all these citizens have to be stopped where they are work to do. You have to go to court. A woman get fined because she couldn't go to court because she's in quarantine. You're under lockdown and police come and check you there, and you're not there where you're supposed to be. In Tobago, they say if you're not in quarantine, you're going to get locked up. A man collect it, and here his explanation. I was in her vicinity, says Rowley, for no more than 25 seconds whilst wearing a mask, and she was masked as well. Yes, Rowley. What she was doing, holding the Gatorade in she mouth, she bring it in she teeth to give you. She had the Gatorade in her hands, Rowley. She's COVID positive, Rowley. She brought your Gatorade, Rowley. She gave you your Gatorade, Rowley. If she's COVID-19 positive, Rowley, and the COVID-19 virus was on the Gatorade, Rowley, and that nice cool surface, Rowley, then it will last long, Rowley. Yes, you may have gone out into the sunlight. As we know, sunlight kills COVID, but it lasts about 12 hours in the sunlight still. In the air condition, in the darkness, in the cold, it could last 72 hours. But Rowley, if you played golf, because we know you're not very good, and if you played a round, it probably took you about 6-7 hours because you sucked so bad. But you were holding that. You were drinking that. You contract COVID through the mouth, through the nose, through the eyes. COVID. So it's irrelevant, Rowley, if you were hugging she up and talking to her and kissing her up for 15 minutes. Are you all really serious? Science just ceases to exist when Rowley has to lie? Is that what you all are telling this country? But here, Rowley, continue to know. Since the protocols require an exposure of 15 minutes or more, then 25 seconds, both masks have been deemed insignificant exposure, requiring no further action. Really? Well, tens of thousands of Trinbagonians who spent time in quarantine, having gone to a grocery where 1 out of 42 people got COVID-19, and they were told that they had to go into quarantine for 14 days. Keshawn Walcott, who landed and did not have contact with any COVID-19 person and was vaccinated and had to go in quarantine by K-Pop and miss out on all of his 3 money-making activities as an athlete on the professional circuit. Well, he interested in that. What? He was not exposed for no 15 consecutive minutes. So what, who you, what, where, when, why? How is anybody going to be this is so stupid. How is anybody going to be in contact with an individual for 15 minutes? Even if you playing football, a man who play, even if you marking Maradona does get the ball in a 90-minute game, 11 minutes. So if he had COVID, you can't get it. Hey, that is all your Prime Minister. And you all take this, and this man, the super spreader, now Tobago crossed 100 deaths, 3 in ICU, only 5 ICU beds. And Brazilian variant, now Delta variant, from that man coming and calling people to Tobago to spread it all around Tobago. He contracted COVID and spread it to 35 people, they say. When them say 35, you multiply by 5, right? He a super spreader already. Then he was in contact not only with one person on the 18th, his next minister in the office of the Prime Minister, who was fully vaccinated, got it too. Webster Roy or whoever she named, a PNM candidate at COVID-19 right now as we speak. But you all sit down there, the whole country on lockdown, shutdown and broke down and quarantine. But Rowley jump on a plane with Sinopharm and go on UK and them, he get off the plane. But them don't allow Sinopharm. If you have Sinopharm, you are going to a 14-day quarantine. But he gone amongst the birds, amongst the population to hit balls in golf course. How is that? And members of the media, you all don't want to know. You all not interested to know. Because something about him, he is the superior being. Huh? You all will ask the Lord Almighty, Lakshmi Ma. You all will ask Allah. You all will ask Jah Rastafari more questions than you all would ask Rowley. And you all are serious. And this country is in a total crisis. Rowley then continued to know. And then he hear what he say. As my friend, deceased former Diego Martin Central MP, Ken Valley used to say, Papa God don't like ugly. Well, he must be saying that to you about 1,000,000 times. Because not only you're physically ugly, but you're ugly from since you was a school teacher who had to get pum-pum off a girl of school age. You're ugly since you attacked Manning. You're ugly since you boast about working OB on Patrick Manning when he was ailing in health and dying. You're ugly since you come in the parliament and desecrate the parliament with your lies. You're ugly since you buff and treat women and attack women and tell them about you don't choose the man and victim shaming and tell them about you need to groom woman like a golf course. You are a disgusting man. God don't like ugly. Whether why God don't like you, you go be here with me forever. Because only the good does go early with God. This man calling God in his name and calling Rodney Charles stranger to the truth. The biggest liar Franco meant in the history of politics globally. Keith Christopher lying, flipping Rowley, calling other people liar. Well, ask him the question of media. Why are you afraid so? Ask him how you reach out in Scotland. You Sinopharm, you boast about Sinopharm, you attack the UNC, you attack Rodney Charles, you didn't take no Pfizer. How you reach out? How come they send you back with small pin and ball head? How come they didn't send you back with a little small one in tow? Prisons Commissioner confirms 67 officers, 22 inmates COVID positive in the jail. Here this one. Convent girl, don't listen to graduates of the University of Facebook for vaccine information. So who to listen to? What medical school you graduate from? The audacity of these dunce PNM. You are total intellectually incapacitated human being talking about other people being dotish. Number one in the world. I wear a size 11 because I always put my foot in the mouth. Look, I have a mask. Don't wear a mask. Look, cut a jersey and you could have a mask. What university you went? What medical degree you have? What pharmacological degree you have? I see that you put that on your profile, that you qualified for LLB in 2013, and what happened after the qualification? You do all the Zama leasing? Tobago ACP, political leaders will be arrested for breaking COVID-19 laws. Well, that sound good. Excellent. Be firm. But how come that happened now? When they had a political leader who sat down, when Tobago was pristine, Tobago was 0 cases. Tobago was in a bubble. And he sat down there and invited Trinis and anybody else to come across to Tobago, to Palance, to misbehave. Tobago is the place to be, where the strong action was. Now Tobago have 100 people dead. Why no investigation? Tim Gopi Singh called for a commission and inquiry into each and every death. 1,682 citizens have died of COVID-19. And these fools are still acting arrogantly like them, handling the scene. COVID crisis. Hey, Archie, you have a video there? Of Rowley inviting? Yeah, man, run that man. Remind the police. So I like how you're getting strong now. But make sure you get strong for everybody, you know. Don't get strong for some. and weak for others. Run it.
The low level of COVID-19 vaccinations in Tobago is of concern to Minister of Health Terence Dialsing.
For the Tobago Mall yesterday to do speaks to a level of vaccine hesitancy in Tobago that we need to really talk to the persons of Tobago.
We got 0.9 for community understanding, the way Dr. Rowley led us in talking to the people, in communicating to the people.
The minister is advising the people of Tobago against following bad advice.
We were following the science and taking firm governmental decisions based on the advice of our health department. So today when you hear there isn't a single report of an infected person in Tobago, it is not by accident, it is by design of the staff and the government and the healthcare delivery in Tobago. Next week, the end of next week, we move into Easter. This is going to be an Easter where anybody who wants to go to Tobago can go and come back when you want. So you know what's happening now? Tobago is almost full and overflowing. The place to be is in Tobago. The place to be is in Tobago. The place to be is in Tobago.
1,682 citizens dead. That is due to the incapacity and the incompetence of me, the PNM Prime Minister Keith Rowley, and my convent girl and Davlin Thomas. That is why people have died, because of the porous borders that I am in control of Keith Rowley. I am pretending to be Keith Rowley as he talked, because he was saying that the 0 cases in March in Tobago was because of he and how he handled it. So 1,682 people dead. Keith Rowley, that's on your chest. Bolted on your chest. The Delta variant is here. Porous borders, no cutlass vessel, no air guard, no helicopter, no coast guard, no fuel, no diesel, no roadblocks, no police commissioner, no strategy. That's on you. The COVID-19, the ICU is full. Yesterday, 300 cases. Today, 290 positive cases, 8 deaths. Yesterday, 10 deaths. That is you, Keith Christopher Rowley, as you're in Scotland with your Sinopharm. That is your fault. The economy is shattered because of COVID-19. Lockdown, shutdown, and broke down. State of emergency for 140 days and no respite. That is all on you. You see how it works? Tobago now over 100 deaths, 300 active cases, COVID-19 all up in the wazoo because of Keith Christopher Rowley. But when Tim Gopi Singh and Kamla Prasad Visesa asked for a commission of inquiry into every single COVID-19 death, the media don't care. They let that go. That's just the opposition asking questions. But many people are asking, because when you go in the ICU, you die. Why is that? All over the globe, people go in the ICU and they fight. And doctors fight and nurses fight, and days, weeks, and then they survive at some sort of rate. 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. But we are moving like 10 out of 10 dead. And y'all don't want to know why? People who had 86% oxygen saturation, they put ventilator on and 2 hours later get heart attack. 2 people, 3 people. Davlin Thomas knows nothing. Convent girl knows nothing. Anand Chattergoon, other doctors, all the specialists are telling you, leave us alone to handle it. You have incompetent dunces managing intelligent people, and our ICU death rate is the highest in the globe. And you all don't want to know why? Well, in Brazil, they wanted to know why. Brazil's senators blame president for 600,000 deaths COVID crisis on Bolsonaro. A Brazilian Senate committee recommended on Tuesday that President Jair Bolsonaro face a series of criminal indictments for actions and omissions related to the world's highest COVID-19 death toll. Criminal negligence, porous borders, lack of protection, lack of service, lack of investment in ventilators and ICU beds. You spend $28 billion. All the time we hear the UNC asking, douglAR Politics asking, from since last year, March, April, May, how much ventilators you buy. When Governor Cuomo, before he had to resign because he tried to grab pum-pum like Rowley, but Rowley grabbing pum-pum, eating pum-pum, rubbing pum-pum, feeling pum-pum, loving up pum-pum, pum-pum sitting on his face, editorial on pum-pum, but he could stay. Governor Cuomo had to go. But before that, he used to give press conferences, very intelligent, and talking about the ventilators that he was getting from the federal government and so on, how he needed 30,000 and he was getting 8,000, 12,000 and so on, and people were lasting X amount of days and 28 days and 30 days in our ICU. How many we have? The TTPS, no spike in murders. Really? Tell all the people who die in that now. C. Prasad criticizes conduct of some lawyers and politicians. Justice Frank C. Prasad said, speaking at a seminar on the relevance of Gandhi in the contemporary world at the Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Cultural Cooperation on Thursday, Justice Frank C. Prasad said, Gandhi has left lingering lessons which still need to be learned by lawyers and leaders. Here in our island republic, recent events relating to the appointment of a commissioner of police have raised in the minds of many citizens a desire to ascertain the truth as to what transpired, and many feel that the various public officials who may have been involved in the situation which ensued should elect to exercise satyagraha, clarify the events which unfolded, and exercise ownership. That is Paula Mae Weeks and Rowley. But there's another thing. A judge just ruled in a case from 2018 that a cop is entitled to a copy of a promotion merit list. In 2018, ASP Nigel Birch, wrote an examination for his promotion, and a judge just ruled on the case. In her order, Justice Margaret Mohammed quashed the commissioner's decision not to give the names of the other officers on the list, as she held it was illegal, irrational, unfair, and amounts to a breach of the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act. Listen carefully, because this sends some sort of precedent and should trickle down into your understanding of that we need the truth, we need the information, and we need to know what took place with the merit list that we are talking about now that caused the collapse of the Police Service Commission and caused Trinidad and Tobago to not have a commissioner of police for the first time in our history. She ordered that Birch should be provided with an unredacted list in 21 days. This list must include the overall scores of each officer in addition to their placement on the list. She continued, in the context of this case, the public interest is more than simply the interest of the 157 officers whose scores were requested. It must include the actions of the defendant which would instill confidence in the public and the officers of the TTPS in the transparency of the promotion process. Now take this judgment and apply it to August 11th, August 12th. President Paula Mae Weeks' statement, Rowley's 3 different statements, his admission that Gary Griffith lost confidence in Gary Griffith a year ago, and he wrote the Police Service Commission chairperson on 3 occasions. Put that judgment into the situation now. New Police Service Commissioner, close to reality. So Paula Mae Weeks just moving like Rowley. Big constitutional crisis. Just so, she just appointing. She just moving forward. She just tell all you, me ain't telling all you nothing. Me ain't talking about section 123(4) of the Constitution, whether shall or may. I not doing that. I just moving forward. And then Rowley, while she moving forward, look, mission complete. Express mission complete. What is complete? These names have to go to the parliament to be debated. But your prime minister, your leader of government business in the parliament, and your second in command, Stuart Smallpin, super PNM minister, young, who completes nothing, Mr. Negotiator, whose brother and father benefit in largest from the taxpayers under his swearing in to be a super minister, while St. Anne's Road, Area Peter Road collapses. He gone on a plane inside Rowley K-Pax. They need to call Parliament to get this done. So what mission complete? And why is the same person who appointed a police service commission that collapsed just going ahead to appoint a next one? And all they don't care? All right, I appoint one. All right, there's political interference, no merit list, no commissioner of police. Okay, Pastor, let me invite 5 more. Really? Bogey on the golf course. Well, I ain't bothering with Keith Rowley on the golf course, even though Magdalena told sell him out because he realized Rowley was stating all kind of things. Rowley was saying that what fellas were fussing with the thing. I was just sitting down there, so me I do nothing. The Magdalena tried to clarify to help out Rowley because clearly the lady said Rowley sat there and did not move and did not care and did not ask her no question. The woman have no axe to grind, she just talked the truth. But Magdalena came and verified the woman's story because they say that Rowley was sitting down behind the thing, he was fussing, he couldn't get it started, he got it started and then it rolled forward. But that's not the point. What a human being. Imagine that. Do you know it takes more effort to not go and ask somebody if they're all right after an accident than to go? The human instinct is to see about someone and to help. That's your instinct. That goes without conscious thought. You just react. Do you know how sick a human being has to be to overcome a human instinct with conscious hatred, conscious disdain, conscious disrespect, conscious inhumanity? Soak that in a bit. Accident happen, boom. Any human being, even killers, will go. Rowley did this. Boom. There's the Prime Minister. I read it in the Sunshine here. On page, what page is this, boy? Page 18. Would you believe that the president, as we're talking about this president who just want to move forward, that the president made Bliss Seepersad chairman of the Police Service Commission, her sister Cherise Seepersad an independent senator in the same year? Would you believe that this is not normal for one family to be so blessed at the hands of one and the same president? Would you believe that in a country of 1.5 million people, Her Excellency could not find any other family to whom she could have been so generous? Then, on this article, we therefore have a president. This is written, the editorial of the Sunshine. We therefore have a president because the people still want answers. And no amount of shenanigans and who against woman and all this kind of nonsense. People want answers. We therefore have a president who is beholden to the government, especially for a second term in office, regardless of the apparition of independence that is projected. To remove that president requires the government that appoints him or her to use its numerical advantage in the Electoral College. It is even more difficult when 9 senators are appointed at the president's discretion, all of whom are likely to be beholden to him or her. Senator Vera saying, singing for the supper, people are wrong to say that he's singing for the supper. Who appointed the independent senators? Her Excellency the President. A reasonable person, all of you reasonable people out there. And think about in your workplace, the person who employs you, your boss, the managing director, the CEO. If there's an issue, would you go against your CEO openly like that? The person who has control to remove you and fire you and take away your job security? You'll answer that. Once you answer that, you'll understand the nonsensical situation that we're in. Senators Vera and Richards don't have a clue on the meaning of democracy, says Peter Green, page 2 of the Sunshine. The country will never know what happened. The so-called independent senators have shown that not one of them is qualified to be an independent representative. Parliament is now degraded to a one-man rule entity. Note, however, that Homo sapiens is governed by the laws of cause and effect. The story should be that independent senators seem to no longer have regard for principle and what is right and decent. That the opposition raved is not a secret. The opposition had to rant and rave when the speaker undemocratically muted their microphones. On that infamous Thursday, the soul of the nation was sold for pottage in preference for a creeping dictatorship. That is Peter Green, page 2, Sunshine newspaper. On the same page, how independent are the president's independent senators? An article by Eugene Reynolds. But are senators not appointed by the president? Therefore, there not be expectations from them that their appointee and consequences if in any debate involving the president they expressed an opinion which was not in support of the latter, as independent and supposedly intelligent persons do they not have questions about how the entire matter involving the Police Service Commission was handled? As supposedly independent senators, would they not like to have the truth on the matter openly ventilated in the People's Parliament? This is Eugene Reynolds asking these questions. Is it that they know of the truths and untruths and the consequences that could result if these are so ventilated? Are the privileges and immunities which the Constitution gives to Parliament not for the purpose of having unfettered and open discussion on all issues without limits or constraints personal to these supposedly independent senators, which they may seek to introduce? Eugene Reynolds continues, Bliss Prasad's involvement is obviously central to the matter and would have been an obvious and necessary part of any discussion, as has been the case in revelations and ongoing discussions in the public domain. Would there not have been a bias in her favor held by her sister, who is an independent senator? Is that not just logical? Is there a meaning that can be attached to the silence of these supposedly independent senators regarding the open opinions expressed by respected, non-elitist, non-UNC, and intelligent members of the public who are really independent, patriotic, free to speak their own mind and to do so in the interest of the public? And then we go to Martin Daly. Martin Daly said he was concerned some of the independent senators may want to get involved in the fight between the government and the opposition. That's not their independent senators' fight. That's not their fight, says Martin Daly. If the government and the opposition have hostilities, the Speaker, Bridget Anisette George, is there to sort it out as best as she can. That, to me, is a big what next problem. Editorial in the Newsday. No one emerged untarred. Respect for the legislator has been dented. Even the independent senators stand accused of siding with the president, not on principle, but in order to keep their post. Let me repeat, Newsday, page 12, Sunday, October 24th, 2021. No one emerged untarred. Respect for the legislator has been dented. Even the independent senators stand accused of siding with the president, not on principle, but in order to keep their posts. Over to you, members of the media, because the president and Keith Christopher Rowley and the PNM, who have conspired to ensure and to enable the collapse of the Independent Police Service Commission, that has caused Trinidad and Tobago to now be in the unenviable position of having no police commissioner right now, while there is a surge in murders, crime, larceny, kidnapping, rape, pillage, home breakings, carjackings across this country. They want to just move on. They just want to move forward. When we have lost the ethics and the morality and the ground where corporate governance, conflict of interest principles, apparent bias have all been thrown out. Textbooks that have understood and talked about and written about propriety, about governance structures which ensure a strong democracy are all dead. The media is afraid to ask questions. Independent senators feel that they can attack opposition senators like they feel, and they feel that they are in some porcelain house. I assure you that you are not. And to you, Senator Vera, as you talk out about all sorts of things UNC, let the country remember that you are the dastardly human being who disrespected me, a fellow senator, and attacked my health and accused me of faking my asthma in order to thwart a process in the Senate. You were wrong. You were out of place. You had no information. You were spreading falsehoods, and you are yet to apologize. So don't get on any high horse. You are also questionable in your swearing in to be an independent senator. Are you not on a PNM board? Is there a stipend paid by the PNM government to members of PNM boards? Are members of PNM boards supposed to follow PNM instructions and believe in the PNM policy and the government policy? So how can one be on a PNM board and be independent at the same time? Please explain while you're talking about fish market and disgrace and who should sing for their supper. And I remind you, if there is no supper, the choir cannot sing. Good night.
Parliamentary life of Trinidad and Tobago would forever change, and Speaker Seapol would be in the center of a political crisis.
I would say it was definitely not called for, because I did nothing wrong, nothing to warrant that kind of action or behavior.
I crossed the floor, I went on the other side because I was totally disenchanted with the way things were handled.
She had reached a point where no matter what points we raised or we attempted to raise, she was just not listening.
There is a perception that a speaker that is politically appointed is one who will really give in largely to what the government wants.
Whether it was a figment of Mr. Manning's imagination that the speaker was against him, or whether that was in fact so, the fact is that what do you do now when you find you're in the government and you want a compliant speaker?
On August 4th, 1995, the PNM government led by Patrick Manning declared a limited state of emergency. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Oka Seapol, was placed under house arrest. The government's intent was to replace Oka Seapol as Speaker of the House after she refused the Prime Minister's request for her to resign.
Because there was absolutely no need for a state of emergency or house arrest. Whatever they wanted to accomplish could have been accomplished otherwise.
I said good night too fast, but Archie, well done. That was very important. That is PNM. That is the control that PNM wants. And now PNM has Rowley, who is worse than any PNM Prime Minister in history, to control and oppress. That was PNM back then. But I leave you with a letter written to the editor by Gordon Laughlin of Westmoreland, Dunces in Corridors of Power. The editor: our freedoms have taken a hit. We now live under a conflicting dictatorship. State companies are not functioning as they should, as when you call for service, it takes a long time for a response. The media are no longer the watchdogs of democracy as they once were. Freedom of speech is being curtailed. The country is numbed by incompetence, arrogance, and just downright stupidity. We are under a political anesthetic. There are dunces in the corridors of power. Watching our political structure unfold, we are nothing but a banana republic now. Too much kissing taking place in Parliament on both sides, which is sending the wrong message. Our freedoms and pleasures have been taken from us. Like most of the rest of the world, the government of the day seems to control our very lives. I would just say that I not kicks in, Kamala not kicks in, the UNC not kicks in. However, 98% of this I totally agree with. We in the opposition have a job to do. The Constitution ties our hands. We can only fight, debate, try to make the government listen and present good law. We will not support bad law. We would not support dunce law. We would not support a Attorney General that does not know his place, his functions, or his responsibilities. The country and the mass media is trying to move forward, but we are in the depths of darkness. And as tomorrow is Halloween, hopefully the evil will dissipate from Trinidad and Tobago. Part of it has gone to Scotland. Maybe the light will begin to shine after Halloween into Diwali this week, so that some light and some good could conquer evil. Good night.
Donkeys, buffoons, and blockheads seem to be in charge in just about every country, whether small or large. Check out public opinion anywhere in the world today, and this is what the man in the street would say. The Prime Minister is an R. The Prime Minister is an R. In the ranks of the idiots, the President tops the class, and the Prime Minister is an R. In Russia, Pakistan, Britain, almost every day, on radio and television, you can hear them pray. From Copenhagen to Timbuktu, from the Nile to the Don, the country is headed by a moron, where the Prime Minister is an R. The Prime Minister is an R. And in the ranks of the idiots, the President tops the class, and the Prime Minister is an R.